you. Hey, now you can hear me. All right, good deal. Okay, we'll just rewind it a little bit here. So not a whole lot of complaints on the quarterback side. I think we got good quarterbacks on both teams here. Um, on the running back side, and now I can freaking hear me. On the running back side, Tony Pollard, Javonte Williams, Tank Bigsby. I'm pretty happy with all three of those running backs. I got Justice Hill in the flex, which I'm just hoping gets a little bit of volume. I don't know. But let's take a look over on Hydra's side. You got Ramondre, which he's been flaky. Great game last week, 4.5 points the week before that. So not super great there. Um, Joey Chestnut's a great hot dog eater, but I don't think he's going to put up a whole lot of points here. I think Hydra's probably playing him because I believe the backup running back is also out this weekend. So I'm going to guess that that's why he's here, but I'm not looking for him to put up a whole lot of points. Josh Downs with Anthony Richardson out should start to see some volume. I think 23.8. God damn, that's a fucking number. But I mean, look what he's done with Joe Flacco here. So I do expect him to put in some numbers there. I think Cedric Tillman's a good flex spot now that we got Jameis Winston playing at the wide receiver position. So I mean, just some monsters. Justin Jefferson and Devontae Smith are incredible. Devontae Smith, he's tiny, but the dude is just elusive. Puts up great numbers. I'm expecting big numbers from both of them. On the other side, CeeDee Lamb, good numbers. I don't know if we're getting Carr back this weekend, but I do like Carr and Olave better than Spencer Rattler and Olave. Either way, I'm not too upset about it. He's been up and down this year, but he's a good wide receiver, so always could put up big numbers. I like Noah Gray. He's not Travis Kelce. Maybe one day he will get some more volume, but for right now, he's putting up fine numbers. Austin Hooper is a solid tight end, but again, don't expect him to put up a whole lot. I think that this gets away. I think I end up taking the win here. It just these two guys are going to be what wins it for Hydra though. So, all right, going to kick it over. So that's a win for MCAS. Tyreek's cardiac arrest 6-2 versus Wacko for Flacco 6-2. Those are some big teams, two 6-2 teams, and Katie I think has lost the last two games. So, um, you know, she needs a win. She needs a win to get back into the winning group here. Let's take a look. Geno Smith and Derek Carr. So there you go. Derek Carr is starting for the Saints. On the other side, Joe Flacco. Gotta love the resurgence of Joe. Um, you don't love, however, Zay Flowers in your super flex position. That is not not fantastic. But hey, Zay Flowers is a good receiver. I think that him and Lamar are gonna have some good games. I don't remember how consistent he's been though. So let's take a peek. 16 and a half, 3. 19.5, 17. I mean, he's got some good numbers. Dude's a good wide receiver. So I don't know. Certainly could do it for you, but you definitely want to see QB there. Maybe reach out to Peter. I don't know. The guy's got absolutely all the quarterbacks in the league, so maybe just reach out to Peter and throw him an offer and see if you can get some quarterback action. What's your bench look like? Zach Wilson. That's not my God. That's a lot of unfortunate quarterback situations there. I would definitely try to get a trade going. It was 6-2 team, and you got Zay Flowers in your super flex. Like you definitely have some potential here. You got to make a trade happen. Nick Chubb coming back though. I mean, I think he's been great the past two games. Am I right? 7 and 11. Absolutely not great. So it's certainly not correct with that assessment. Feels like maybe I'm just hyping him up because I'm excited to see him back. I've always loved watching him play. I think I do think we start to see a little bit more volume from him. So I'm excited to see Nick Chubb here. Saquon Barkley, we're not going to say a whole lot about him. Dude's a beast. Jameer Gibbs, dude's a beast. Dobbins has been fantastic as well. So, I mean, all three of these you got to be happy with. Nick Chubb, Alexander Madison has been better than fine. I mean, even with that team being doo-doo butter, I mean, 8.8 is not great, but I mean, you're looking at the rest of the season and you're like, yeah, dude, I got that guy for cheap and he's putting up numbers. So you got to be happy with him. I mean, Derrick Henry, my God, the dude is incredible. I wish I was as in good shape as him, and I'm older than him, and I think he's gonna be better shape for so much longer than me. The guy is, my God, the guy is incredible. So you got to be happy with him. Chuba Hubbard getting some great volume in Carolina. Obviously, Carolina's speaking of doo-doo butter, Carolina's doo-doo butter. So not happy with the team, but Chuba Hubbard's been putting up great numbers. I like the Khalil Shakir play. I like him as an athlete. Again, one of those guys that you probably got for pretty cheap, and he's putting up some good numbers for you. So I like the team play here that we got going on, the players that we got going on. Tyler Lockett, another veteran who just continues to put out. Um, this was incredible, and I think that the catch that Garrett Wilson had this past weekend was probably the best catch in the NFL. Like better than OBJ's, I think. I don't know how you guys think. Feel free to let me know. But I think Garrett Wilson's catch was the best reception we've seen in the NFL, period, hard stop. Um, what did Tyreek Hill do last week? I didn't watch the Miami game. So he got 11 points. He's got nine receptions, six receptions, nine targets, 72 yards. I mean, that's a big game if he gets a touchdown. I do think against Buffalo, we ought to start to see some serious air yards from Miami. Tua's getting a little bit more of his luster back, I think. So, we'll see. Wando Robinson, though, against the Giants. What are we doing, Giants? Like, don't they have a pretty solid backup? I mean, I know that they made Daniel Jones a ludicrous contract extension, but you're not staying with him. Are you just keeping him in there so like you can flip him before? I don't know what the Giants are doing. I mean, just I don't know. I don't know, but I mean, get him out of there. Do whatever you got to do. Get him out of there. You hate to see Conk with the 1.1 points. That sucks. Not great for you. And then Ferguson with 12.3. That's ridiculous. Against Atlanta. Atlanta is a good team to play your quarterbacks against. We give up, obviously, I'm the Atlanta fan here, but we give up those low yardage plays just past the line of scrimmage. So I think it could be a good game for Ferguson. I think this is a good play. I think 12.3 might be a little high, but I won't be surprised if it happens. That's for damn sure. All right, so let's take a look. Oh, man, 131 versus 141. Ah, yeah, yeah. Man, if you had another quarterback in here, this wouldn't even be close. I feel like it's going to be closer than 131 versus 141. I feel like this is going to be probably an upset. Man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Hard to root against Derrick Henry though. God dang. I think I gotta go with Katie here. I think I gotta go with Tyreek getting a big game, Tyler Lockett getting a good game, Chuba Hubbard against the New Orleans Saints. I think Carolina, if it two bad teams in the NFC South, I think Carolina might actually win this, but it depends on how Carr does. Um, there's just Katie, you just got a lot of people that like I believe in, so going with the gut here, giving it to Katie. All right, Turd Ferguson versus Straight Cash Homies. Sneaky good game here. Turd's team is good. Eric, you got a good team. Peter's team is, I think, putting up the most points in the league right now. But this is the thing. This is our one remaining clown right here. So if we can get this clown to get his team right, Eric, I'm calling you a clown, buddy. You got to get this right. I think if you get this right, though, yeah, I think you take the win. Um, He's over in Europe, people. You know the Europeans, they don't work hard. They take a lot of vacation. I don't know what's going to happen, but Jared Goff's playing crazy. CJ Stroud has not been playing that crazy lately. His wide receivers are dinged up, and that sucks. Stephon Diggs is out for the rest of the year. Who knows where he's going to be next year? Nico is still out. Tank Dell is there. But yeah, this has not been great. This has been a kind of a rough ride compared to what you got last year. On the other side, though, Baker Mayfield, solid. Dude fucking flings it. And then you got Kyler Murray. I'd like to see a little bit more out of Kyler Murray, but you're certainly not mad with him. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this one. I'm going to give it to Peter. I'm going to assume Eric doesn't get this fixed since it's been sitting there for a few days now. But if Eric does get Zach Moss out, who would he put in? Sterling Shepard, probably. Yeah, I'd go Sterling Shepard. That'd give him 5 points. I don't know if that's enough to sway my vote, but Fuck it. I'm just gonna give it to Peter. Even if Eric does get the swap in, I'm gonna give it to Peter here. Moving Peter up to 6-3, moving Eric to 6-3. I think that feels right. I think Peter being at 6-3 is where it's at. Peter's team is just gonna get better, by the way, folks. I mean, the guy's got so many quarterbacks. If you don't realize this, he's got so many quarterbacks. Y'all need to trade with him if you don't have a quarterback, and when you do, his team will get better. Very well played by Peter. Nicely done, buddy. I am super happy to have you in the league. All right, we got Aubrey's Where is Ja versus JP's all rookie team. We got two very bad teams going up against each other. Let's take a look at what they're doing. Daniel Jones, as we talked about, I'm not a fan of him. I don't think many people are. But on the other side, you got Gardner Minshew, who is he's fun to watch. It's fun to watch off and on the field, but you know, against Cincinnati, Cincinnati is out for blood right now. They have to win basically every single game to make the playoffs, which T. Higgins is out again, I believe, so probably not gonna happen. But we'll go with it. We'll go with it. That sucks. But anyway, Gardner Minshew, I don't think he's gonna do very well against Cincinnati. Um, all right, let's take a look at running backs. James Cook, Brian Robinson, both of these guys have been great for Aubrey. Certainly the bell cows for his team. On the other side, Kareem Hunt, Chase Brown. Has he been? Yeah, he has, man. I guess he filled in Joe Mixon's spot pretty well. It feels like they're missing Joe Mixon, but you look at Chase's, and maybe yeah, it is. Okay. You look at his fantasy numbers and you're like, okay, well, maybe they're not missing him that much, but that's the part when I watch Cincy, I'm like, you guys need Joe back, but maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe they just need an offensive line that doesn't let them absolutely destroy Joe. I don't know. Anyway, Um, pretty solid. I mean, you look at these first three spots and you're like, damn, this is gonna be a good matchup. And then we get down here at Tolbert, Dobbs. Dobbs has been a disappointment. I mean, that team has been playing great. You love Love. He's been playing great, but man, what are you doing, Dobbs? So I don't know. I mean, I'm still expecting bigger games out of him, but it's certainly not coming our way right this way. On the other hand, you got Jalen Reed over here, and I always feel like I mess up his name. It's Jaden Reed. Um, the dude's getting volume. I mean, he's just getting, look at this volume. Last two games, not so great, but I mean, bam. So I'd like to see him get back to the volume there. I think the guy is just talented as all get out. All right, I don't know why my headphones went off, but my headphones went off. Detroit is incredible, and if you're not watching them, you need to tune in for a game. They are so fun to watch right now. So I don't know. Is Love playing? I haven't kept up with Love and playing this week or not. But if he is, this should be an absolute thriller of a game. I'm disappointed with Addison this year. I think he's very talented, and I'd like to see more volume for him. But I think Paul pointed it out that they're just not throwing as much. Hey, candy. It's like 11 in the morning. Sure, why not? Rot your teeth out, kiddo. It's Halloween week. See ya. Bye. I love you. All right. Got to get the candy for the kids, of course. Um, yeah. I do think we're going to see more volume because Joe Flacco's in. He's going to be flinging it, which means that Minnesota's going to have to be flinging it. So I do think we might get a bigger game out of Addison here, but it hasn't been happening for him. Now we start to get into some random. So Jared Judy versus Ray McLeod. Again, I think it ought to be a good game for Atlanta and Dallas Cowboys. Um, what has he been doing on this team, right? So we saw a bump last weekend, right? Jameis comes in. Maybe a resurgence of Jerry Judy. I'm intrigued. I got rid of Jerry Judy, gave him to Aubrey a long time ago. Um, but I mean, Jameis is certainly the guy who's going to get him some volume. So let's take a look there. If you can hear the kids screaming in the background, I promise they're okay. They're not dying. Um, Kincaid's been good. Someone just tried to make me a trade with Kincaid. I mean, you're certainly not mad at this. I don't know. Something feels off with Kincaid. I wasn't interested in the trade, so I feel like I'm biased here. Maybe I'm just mistaken on it. But certainly like the Kincaid over Foster Moreau. Jaden Daniels, man. That dude, that dude balls. I hope he's, excuse me, feeling a little bit better because when his ribs are not affecting him, um, he's fun as hell to watch. So this sucks for you, JP. This one really does. But and your tight ends kind of blow as well. But Aubrey's team, man, what the hell, man? Like you got some decent pieces going on here. I don't know. I think JP wins it. I think Jaden Daniels wins it. I'm gonna root for Jaden Daniels and Gardner Minshew, which feels really weird, but 3-6 for both teams here. All right, let's take a look at Yanni, Sons of the Harpy versus Linden's team. You got a 5-3 team versus 2-6. Um, Bo Nix against Baltimore. I don't think that's gonna be a very pretty game for Denver. I think Baltimore is going to be coming out hot this weekend. It's in Baltimore. I don't think Bo Nix is going to have a good game. Sam Darnold against Indiana. I already talked about it. I think he's going to have to be passing that a little bit more. So look for this. Yeah, 21.8 I think is pretty accurate. Um, Now let's get into these running backs. Brees Hall, Devon Achane. Both of those are great. Rashad White against Kansas City. I think that's a good play this weekend. On the other side, let's see, at flex, 19.7 out of Devontae. I mean, that was sweet. You do like to see that. Um, you don't like to see this. This is brutal. Lyndon, I'm sorry, buddy. I don't think that is easily surmountable. I don't think we even really need to speak a whole lot about this matchup after looking at that truthfully. So let's see. Njoku, Sutton, Puka Nacua, he's hurt, but still, guy can ball, man. I love this guy, Kirk Cousins. That's my QB, man. Talking about my QB. Anyway, I don't think we got to talk about this one too much. I think Sons of the Harpy moves up to 6-3. Linden moves down to 2-7. We might start seeing some teams that are DQ'd from the playoffs. 2-7 teams are certainly getting close. Hey, internet. I'm using too much bandwidth apparently, even though I have fiber. All right, let's take a look at Vince's team. I got to go back and see how many of Vince's predictions I got right. I feel like I'm doing a good job this year for Vince. I never get his stuff right. The first 3 or 4 years I've just been all over the place trying to predict for him. But let's take a look at quarterbacks. Josh Allen, Matthew Stafford. Freaking big numbers from both of them. You gotta love it. Clearly, those are the two guys that are carrying Vince around. On the other side, Jalen Hurts and Roshan Johnson. So again, Paul, you got to get talking to our boy Peter. You got to get a trade going. You got to get. I guess you don't got to do anything because you're 1-7, so you're fucking shit out of luck anyway for this year. But maybe in the off season you make some magic happen with Peter. Um, Again, this is probably not one we need to spend a whole lot talking about. Vince's team is looking really good. James Conner continues to produce. Is he going to get another extension for Arizona? I feel like Arizona is dumb enough to do it, and James Conner's playing good enough to make a dumb team do it. So he might. We might continue to see James Conner playing, but eventually the wheels will fall off. Certainly not this year. All right. Montgomery has been lights out. You gotta love what Montgomery's doing as long as he's staying healthy. He's gotten dinged up a few games though. He got dinged up against Minnesota, I believe, and he's already passed his bye. So a little concerning, but hey, he's playing. So you're playing him, and you're happy with how he's playing. Aaron Jones is playing well, and he's no, I'm thinking of someone else. He is playing well though. I mean, you take a look at his numbers, and you're like, yeah, I'm down for that. Give me that right into my veins. On the other side, not great. Bucky Irving, I mean, it certainly could get to 10. You're playing against Kansas City. You could get a few little Bucky Irvings. He probably gets like 3 passes, 3 receptions, maybe falls into the end zone. What are they projecting him at? What has he been doing? Yeah, 3 and 1 touchdown. What are they saying he's gonna do this time? 2 receptions. Yeah. I could see that. I could see like 2 or 3 receptions and like a lucky touchdown to get him to 10 points. Um, this is another guy that just freaking balls, and he's dealing with Daniel Jones, man. God dang, that sucks. Really nice numbers though. Obviously, you're discrediting the injuries. You're not worried about that. He had his concussion. Last 2 games, maybe shaking off the cobwebs here. I don't know, but you're really happy with how he came out the first half. So maybe we get back to there. I think 14's right against Washington. Otherwise, I think this is an easy win for Vince. Let's move on. Vince, nice win here, buddy. Moving you to 6-3. Paul's team moving down to 1-8. That's probably going to be our first team disqualified this year. I don't think there's anyone else with a worst. No, there's not. So, all right, we've got Mike's Mehow team. Bit of a resurgence this past week as he has Jameis Winston playing now versus Ian's starting Bijan is the Pits, which is just a great name. Great play on players' names there. We got Tua and Jameis playing for Mike's team. Aaron Rodgers finally put up some decent volume, decent numbers. You like to see it. John Mechie in the Superflex is aggressive. And not in the good way either, Ian. Not in the good way here. 2 teams fighting to get to the bottom. They're jealous of Paul sitting at 1-7 right now. Tyler Algier, I like him. He's a good running back, even if he's not a backup. I mean, he could easily be a starter. The guy is a bowling ball. I love to watch him run. He just sticks his hand out there and trucks people. I mean, he's fun to watch if you haven't watched him. Joe Mixon's been playing lights out. He gets a contract extension probably after this year. Kenneth Walker, same thing. Dude's been playing freaking great. God, I love this. I love this. And the Atlanta running back stack makes me happy too, Ian. I'm so happy that you love the Falcons as much as I do. Maybe more. You might be a bigger Falcons fan than I am with this stack, right? Certainly not a Saints fan. Darnell Mooney, guy has had some incredible catches this year. If you're watching the Falcons, you definitely see Darnell Mooney. I mean, incredible catches by Darnell Mooney. So I like to see it here. I'd love to see all the Falcons playing. I wish I could get some of these guys on my team. Drake London, again, I love this. Look at 2 wide receivers for Atlanta versus 2 running backs for Atlanta. What a fantastic matchup we got going on here. It's not going to be very close, though. Um, Jameis is going to chuck it. Tua is going to chuck it. Those are going to get you big numbers. Kenneth Walker's always going to put up good numbers. Darnell Mooney or Drake London, either way, you're averaging probably 23 points a game between the 2 of them. So, I mean, decent. Jalen Waddle should see some better volume. Let's see what he did last weekend. 6 targets, 4 receptions, 45 yards. Close. Close. You want to see him over 50 yards for sure. I think he gets there this weekend. Does he get a touchdown against Buffalo? I think it's a good chance. We'll see. I'm going to move on though. Hey, by the way, Will Dissly. Will Dissly has, I think I read the other day that Will Dissly has the most targets on his team for the Chargers. I think the guy's had like 2 or 3 serious knee injuries, and he's back and he's continuing to put up. So you gotta love that. He's a fun guy to watch. Um, listen. There's a lot of fucking Falcons players in this game. Kyle Pitts last weekend. I don't think it was a fluke. I think he's been in the doghouse right here. I think he's been in the doghouse because he's a shit blocker. And I think he got his shit together and he started blocking. He started blocking. He started blocking. And I think tight end, National Tight End Day or whatever it was, obviously that played into it as well, I think. But I think Pitts is on the menu, man. I think we're gonna start to see him used more as we get in deep into the season. Um, yeah, I was not a big Kyle Pitts fan, but watching him now, he's starting to play a little bit better defensive role for us, which is gonna win him over with the coaches. I do think we start to see some bigger numbers. Honestly, I probably am starting to look for trades for him if you haven't already. You're probably a little late now. But given this win over to Mike's team, I think Mike gets the win here. Maybe with him to 3-6, moving Ian to 2-7. All right, last game of the weekend. 3-5 teams, 2 of them. Ligma Harballs, Andy Reid versus Mike's Caleb Williams. Come on down. It's a close one, folks. 117 versus 115. Let's take a peek at the QBs. We got Love, who's dinged up. I don't know if he's playing. Maybe that's a game time decision. Trevor Lawrence, you're not happy with anything going on in Jacksonville. The numbers have been fine, but it hasn't looked fine. It's in fact it's looked less than fine. So this could get bad real quick for Lick Harbaugh's Andy Reid, depending on what Jordan Love's designation is prior to the game, and depending on which way the wind's blowing for Jacksonville. It's in Philly though, so I'm not gonna I'm not putting money on Trevor Lawrence, that's for sure. On the other side, Caleb Williams, check this out. Big games from Caleb Williams since the Houston game, right? Gets his socks knocked off at Houston, and then just starts putting up some solid numbers. I like the game that he has this weekend against Arizona. I think it should be fun to watch those two teams play. Dak Prescott at Atlanta, that should be a good game. I think Dak gets some nice volume here, some good chunk plays, which is good because Dallas has looked starting to look close to less than fine as well. I think we probably see Dak start to get some good volume, good numbers here. Josh Jacobs starting to get some catches, some hands on the ball, and get some touchdowns. You like to see that. I like Rico Dowdle again, cheap running backs that are producing good stuff. Um, Keenan Allen versus Mario Douglas. You hate to see that. You're hoping for this, but it's not likely, right? And you hate to see this. That sucks, but pairs up well. I don't know where I was going with that statement, but yeah, you're just hoping for not 2.5 points. That sucks. I love Keon Coleman. I think the kid is intelligent. I think the kid runs great routes, and he's big. He's like 6'4", isn't he? Yeah, 6'4", 215. Dude looks like a ballerina out there. Anyway, actually, Keon Coleman and Keenan Allen, I'd like to see a comparison between those two guys and their routes that they run. Cooper Kupp is back, and you like to see how he's getting involved. I think DeAndre Hopkins, we already talked about it. I think he gets more involved. This is a tricky one because of that, right? He got some good volume last weekend, and we saw some good volume from him for a little bit. 3, 4, and 5 weeks, 3, 4, and 5. I don't know. I don't know what to expect out of that guy. Lad McConkey's look great. If you don't have him, you should try to get him. If you probably can't get him though. And then this guy has no hands. I think he has both of his hands removed. I mean, he's got really good volume, or pretty good volume, but he just can't catch. Eh. So Zach Ertz is still alive, but I do think that this is the better tight end this weekend. What are we doing? I'm talking too long because the headphones went out. So I'm going to make my play here. I think that Caleb Williams, Mike's team, I think he wins it, moving him to 4 and 5. Um, and that's everything. As always, I hope you guys have a great weekend and